What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Ra. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Eb. We like to call him Mickey Hay because that is his original name. People changing their names, not okay. Confuses everyone. Mostly confuses me. Anyways, we do have the map Blue Lagoon. Thank you so much for the 24 months, Luco. Happy anniversary to you. I will give you a kiss as your present. Mwah. What did you get me? I'm just kidding. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate all your ongoing support, my friend. New game, new me, different map. This map is a lot more challenging here for the Ra. He's got an exposed gold mine. He doesn't have a good second town center. He's only got two giraffe here. Two giraffe is a bad spawn for Ra. If you get the 3 giraffe, it's a really, really good spawn. Pigs getting picked up. All the good stuff here. Another pig getting picked up here. Eb building his villages, doing all this good stuff. Now we can see where the town centers are for Eb. Again, this is something that you need to do as Oranos in this matchup, and you probably only need one. Okay, so maybe let's rephrase. I think as soon as you find your second food source, that's when you send your oracles forward. Move one here, use the other one to scout around your base before moving forward. And that way, you just know which town center your opponent is more likely to grab. Now, if you know which town center is better, like this one is clearly quite good, and this one over here is clearly better because there's an elephant here he can drag in. So you want to deny this town center as best as you can. But you don't know which one it is if you haven't scouted it. So we'll see if Eb is going to do that in this game or not. And we'll see how it's all going to go. We are seeing villagers now moving over onto this hunt, doing all the good stuff. There's a giraffe coming up. There is Hunt up here to grab. Now, one thing that Kimo might want to try here, and he's been known to do this, especially on Blue Lagoons, is go Bast. 2 Monument Bast is really, really strong. We see early wood here for Kimo, and this normally means a very, very late advance time. If you get villagers onto wood, generally you can't afford to get to the classical age very fast. You see he's got the 100 gold right now for a temple, not throwing it down just yet, and we'll see how that's going to go. As the priest ready to grab that granary. We still don't see the temple for Kimo. And advancing this late on this map with this gold mine, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough for Kimo. He does have a tower over here, but TURMA just swinging in here, hitting these villages for free. It's going to be really rough. He's got a gold mine over here as well that he could potentially sneak as Eb still hasn't checked out the town centers, the settlements here. He isn't advancing just yet, but he's going to have the resources, and he does get a clean 430 in this game. As we see the citizen starting to mine their gold, the Savannah tree getting chopped down, everything looking up Oranos here. And he's 2-2-2 with a villager getting his mana up, so he's definitely considering going for his Mermillo in this game. If you go 2-3-2, so 2 food, 3 wood, 2 gold, that kind of indicates going for the double TURMA, as we've seen that have some success, but also both kind of have their own place here. As we see Shaduf, or I say Shaduf because that's what we researched, but we see Tar coming through, as well as some nice walls here coming down for Kimo. But if Mickey Hay goes for some Miller here, he should be able to knock through this, especially with some TURMA to boot, preventing the Pharaoh from doing its thing. Now, only having a small amount of villages on this gold mine for Kimo indicates that Kimo is looking to either go for a classical fight or a 1 town center fast mythic / heroic. Those are his 2 options here. So we'll see. Because of this gold mine, he might be considering the classical fight here. And we'll see how that's going to go. As Ebb very comfortably in the second H. Double counter barracks down right now for Ebb. And he will start thinking about getting himself those juicy TURMA to put some pressure on. Now, Kimo could consider throwing up a tower here as well. He's got himself 300 gold in the bank. I really do not foresee him getting this town center this late, but he just might with 11 villagers here. He's going for it. Super late second town center against an Oranos. He's very risky. And yet again, with 3 scouts right now, Mickey Hay has not got vision of these town centers, so he doesn't know where to send his units. He's sending his Promethean all over the map to scout. Should have been here. His TURMA too slow to get over here because of the 430 advance. And Kimo gets his town center up nice and safely. The only problem with this town center, it's not a big problem, but the only problem is that this is not actually defensible hunt. So there might be a world where Kimo is banking on being able to gather this, and there just being a whole bunch of TURMA just sitting here, just denying this hunt from him. So we'll see how that's going to go. If we check out his economic upgrades right now, he's already got himself a pickaxe. He's getting himself a barracks up, which I like the barracks to try and defend this. But right now, Mickey Hay is going after the gold mine. So he's going to come in here, sit in onto this location. We see the villagers turning around and shanking right now. Getting a couple of hits of damage. Nice garrison micro from Kimo to keep his villagers alive as the TURMA retreat. And the wall does end up going up as more walls coming in for Kimo. Nice play. All right. So Mickey Hay is getting more TURMA coming out. Still pushing forward. If you're playing on an extended edition, this Matt's TURMA strategy against Ra doesn't work as well because you don't start with medium archers. We see one villager snipe there. Nice play. But you can still do it. You just have to remember to invest in medium archers fairly early on, and it slows you down just a little bit. More villages are getting built here. How are we going on our upgrades? Kimo still does not have himself a Shadoof, does not have himself plow or anything else here. He's on the pigs, and the double barracks does end up going up as we are seeing the most Kimo wall you've ever seen right now coming through. Whoa. ...2003 game, ladies and gentlemen. And if this was a modern game, there would be a check for if there is a unit in the building, and it would just be like, if the unit is in the building, immediately push the unit out of the building. Because you don't, it's not even like that much code, if you think about it. Like, it just goes, put a check into the game. If there's a unit inside of the building, like this, push the unit out of the building. It would ruin some scenarios, but, you know, whatever. But it's sad. I'm not sure if there's a way like that you can click these to pull them out, but, I mean, that's just a sad amount of dead TURMA here. If I was Kimo, I would delete this wall. But no honor in Age Mythology, it seems. Now, Ebb should be thinking about getting his town centers. He's already getting one down. He does have a nice elephant in this corner. He's got his mana up here, getting himself another town center. He's got 6 villages on gold right now. Okay, so you need to take these off. Get yourself husbandry. Get onto the food. Get ready for those 3 town centers to be producing. And also, at this same point, you should be starting to think about Military Academy and Momillo here. Sticking with TURMA for this long is really bad. And Kimo just gets such a huge win there after having such a nightmare map with this wall helping out a ton. He's got himself all of these slingers out as well. This is going to be interesting here. We do see on this... Kimo's trying to wall him in, but he's getting... This map is saying, you're losing on this map, Kimo. I'm not allowing you to take this map. You get a lion on your wall route here for the gold mine. You get an exposed gold mine here. But then the game says, no, you know what? This map was a bit brutal. Let's just kill off a couple of TURMA for free and bear with it. So we see the game continuing. Second town center up, putting more villages on top. The elephant is a lot of food, and these farms have probably no upgrades. Yeah, he's got no plow just yet. No husbandry either for these pigs. That's a big mistake from Mickey there to miss those. He's also got an elephant here he can eat. He's got all this food here. Still should be hunting. Don't want to start those farms too early. Slows you down a ton. If your opponent is raw, you need to take every advantage you possibly can with the hunt. Even maybe trying to take this here, as we are seeing a potential third town center grab here for Kimo. This strategy is really interesting from Kimo here, going for this town center, as we see the slingers making their way across to say g'day. Town center is going to get grabbed right under the vision, and there's going to be no real way for Mickey to hit this timing, because as soon as Kimo sees the 3 town centers pop up there, Kimo knows that Mickey's only at 80 population-ish, so he should be able to defend whatever. He's got a whole bunch of Wadget out as well. The TURMA come through. They're going to get pushed back very easily here. He's going to lose a couple of these units no matter what. We will be seeing that Pharaoh getting taken a little bit of damage out, but Mickey going to get out of there, only losing 1 unit. And the town center gets up very safely here for Kimo, as he is starting to throw his farms down. He does have himself Shadoof, but very low on the gold. He's got himself this gold mine over here now, very easily secured here as well. So this is, again, another very tough position for the Oranos to be in, allowing these walls to come up. I mean, does Mickey know about this? He does know that there's a gold mine here, so there's probably a world. He had an oracle over here. This is probably a world where the oracle should be sitting here, so he can see when the walls come up and then make sure he denies those with a couple of units. But Kimo right now throwing his rain down. Farms are up all over the place here. He's got himself only 15 villagers currently on food, but I'm sure that he's casting this rain to just try and get those villagers out. This is looking mightily similar to playstyle by the Englishman Joe right here, where he just says, you know what, I don't particularly care about anything. I just want to get my villagers out as fast as I can and then take you into the late game where I shine. So we'll see if this is going to all work out for Kimo. He does need to be aware that if he does eat all of this gold mine here, that he's going to have to start a trade route. He's going to have to figure out how he's going to get another gold mine, but still having himself 5,200 gold left in this is probably enough to build a full population, 145 population army, in order to make a big push out onto a second gold mine. So no problems really there. Now, we haven't seen Kimo go into the next age just yet. I am interested to see if he does decide to go with Sekhmet again, like he did in that last game, or going through Hathor, considering he's gone for the more boomy route, wanting to take advantage of those mercenary. Now, the forward town centers here for Kimo as well. If you take a look at the map, from Kimo's perspective, he's got to know that there's a town center across from him or over here. He's got to realize, probably, he's a very strong player, so he's going to have that in the back of his mind, that this is kind of close town center proximity, as we do see the shifting sands in here. He does catch a whole bunch of TURMA, but a whole bunch do end up surviving. And the slingers will get a whole bunch of damage done. But, back to the point, if the town centers are close to each other, Hathor's value goes up. It skyrockets, because it allows you to just mercenary your opponent non-stop onto this town center and get a lot of value. If you have back town centers, things get a little bit different. And you can kind of do what you do with the Scarab with one lone siege works. But he is going up through Sekhmet yet again, and he will be garrisoning that Scarab to defend against the Sekhmet. Defend against the Hecate. Now, I do think that if you see Hecate, if you see Sekhmet, maybe Hecate is no longer an option. Helios maybe a stronger option, because again, you don't have that sun-dried mud brick, which means that those vortexes are going to do a lot more damage with the siege weapons. Masons, architects might be through by then, but you're still going to get a whole bunch of damage done. Probably not, actually, because most of the time your opponent's going to be expecting the Hecate. As we see a couple of villagers getting picked off over here. Villagers moving over here onto this gold mine, taking out the lines. We see a whole bunch of military barracks getting thrown down as Mickey Hay is doing a very similar thing to what we see Ulysses doing. He's cutting those units at around 125 population. He's trying to throw down the market somewhere. He's trying to get his gold income. He's getting himself a very, very late shaft mine, but no real harm there. He's got himself only TURMA thus far, and he will be getting up an immediate... Well, that's a barracks there. Where's the market at? I don't see a market just yet. Someone find the market. Where is it? There. No, just more barracks. He could just be going for unit spam here. Not sure. Kimo, on the other hand, in the heroic age, still chunking out all of those villages. He's going to get the economic advantage very, very shortly. We see a Migdol stronghold coming up on this position here. Going to come over onto this mining camp very, very soon. As we see the TURMA swinging in here. Going to go after these villagers here nicely. One villager down. Not just yet. Going to have to pull back. No problems there. So the villagers jump into that town center. The TURMA retreating away. All the walls up for Kimo. He's playing it nicely, nice and defensively. No more villagers remaining. Market going up in Matrius fashion. He might go for a second market here. It's a little bit more risky, but he's got the Migdol here and a nice wall already set up. So his trade route's going to be incredibly safe here. So we are seeing a couple of those spearmen getting built for Kimo getting sniped off. Already having the heavy TURMA through for Mickey, as he is still not going to the Mythic Age, still not producing any units. I'm very, very confused about what he's doing with these resources. Walls going up everywhere. Forward oracles. The TURMA looking to try and get in here. He's just banking resources for days here. And is he getting more upgrades? No, he's not. He's making Contarius. Wait, did he get... Did he get himself Lance of Stone? No, not just yet. I'm still confused about the Contarius, though. It's just like mass slingers, so it might be a go. The slingers won't be able to do anything against those Contarius. But then again, same too, would they not be able to do anything against destroyers, which are a little bit stronger, I would say, than Contarius Toxotes. It's actually funny if you think about this from the Greek point of view, where Greek players want to start with Hippocon, but as the game gets more sealed off, they want to transition away from Hippocon into infantry against Egyptians. And it's seeming like Ebb is doing the opposite here. Infantry very, very good against the Egyptian for the most part. As we are seeing the TURMA retreating back. And these spearmen just looking for some chaos here. The Contarius will be able to beat them at heavy Contarius. They cost the 3 population. They will be able to deal with these spearmen pretty easily. There's Ebb's market up, and I'm sure we will be seeing that Mythic Age. He's got so many resources. I think Lance of Stone here with Helios is exactly what he's doing, but Lance of Stone Helios could be a real goer. He's going to have to somehow sack these TURMA because you don't want those anymore. And Kimo is just sitting back, and he's going Osiris here. There's a very real world where Kimo just goes, you know what, I'm just going to try and go for my Titan Gate again, and good luck to you trying to stop me. And Mickey Hayes got an option here. He's got a way to deal with it in this game. But he is playing Atlantean, and he is going to be finding himself with a very, very difficult time going into the late game against Ra. Now, every single Atlantean civilization has their own unique way of playing the late game. You've got Kronos with the time-shifting functionality, where you kind of want to time-shift palaces into your opponent's back of their base and try and get some damage done that way. You got Gaia, who wants to abuse Gaia Lush to deny building space and constrict the map that way. And you've got Oranos with the Sky Passage trying to kind of roleplay a little bit like Zeus or Hades with Underworld, trying to get in behind the enemy lines, getting damage done that way. But all that being said, that's all Oranos has really got. That's all Atlantean really has. Every other civilization is built for late game differently. And we'll see if Mickey Hayes is going to be able to get any value out of his vortex, and then consequently Sky Passages a little bit later. Now we still don't know if Mickey Hayes got Lance of Stone, if that is the option right here. He has not hit the Mythic Age just yet. There he goes with the Helios. Big shockwave coming in. The Contarius could get in and surround this Son of Osiris, which they are doing. The Son of Osiris is going to be retreating away. You have to kind of get around the Son of Osiris, otherwise you're just going to retreat back and you're going to take a whole bunch of DPS and feel really, really sad about your life. A bit of a misclick there from Kimo as the fight is still continuing. Ebb with lots and lots of gold in the bank. No resources in the food department really here, but so much favor here to build Hecagigantes. If he takes this fight, and he has taken this fight well, and just transitions into like however many Hecagigantes he can get, Vortex here, take this town center down, completely nude up the trade route, Vortex here afterwards, take the citadel down, and then push in with villages. This is his way forward in the game. Kimo is in a very difficult position, but he goes for the Vortex really, really early here, and he's only really got a couple of siege weapons here, as we will be seeing Kimo immediately starting himself those mercenary coming out. And look at those TURMA, they're completely useless. Look at those Arcus, they are completely useless. We've got Champion Contarius here. We've got one Hecagigante that gets immediately sniped there by the Mummy. Nice play from Kimo, keeping that one safe in his base. The town center is not going down, and this Vortex play is going very, very badly for Mr. Mickey Hay in this game. Right now, Kimo could even consider making a huge push onto this town center, as he knows that this is all basically not a done deal. He's easily going to defend. He's got the Mummy. He's got the mercenary. He's going to hold this. He's got infinite gold right now because of his trade route that's kind of been set up. We are seeing Kimo going to be making this push work very, very nicely, as Mickey Hayes still not doing anything really with his Helios. He's 159 or 160 population. He's trying to push through here, and it's just not working out right now for Mr. Mickey Hay. There was a weird point here where Mickey had so many resources. I thought maybe Lance of Stone Vortex was actually pretty big brain, but it's not what he was going for. And then that Vortex just did nothing. But we are seeing him on top of Kimo's Son of Osiris. Kimo losing another Son of Osiris kind of a little bit easily here. Nice play from Mickey Hay, as he's able to start surrounding this army nicely. These Champion Contarius actually doing a lot of damage here in this game. With the mix of those Dryads can help out a ton, as we are seeing some of those mercenaries starting to come up to this town center here. And Kimo, he's set up right now, so it's going to be tough for Mickey to make any sort of headway in an all-out fight. You can see the trade route is set up, nothing empowering it just yet, but it's getting 94 gold a trip. He's making just camel caravans for the entirety of this game right now. He's going to be very happy to go up to something like 40 camel caravans. We are seeing the spearmen coming through, but these are not Horus spearmen. So the Contarius, while they're not good against spearmen, they're not going to be losing that badly. But still probably don't want to be building those Contarius here anymore. Just destroyers or even the Milo here, fanatics even, are a good idea as well. But the army still going into each other here. And this is where Egyptians thrive. This kind of fighting right now. Set up trade route, mercenary pumping, empower the town center to get those mercenary cavalry out a little bit faster. And then you're just going to be living the dream. And 170 population. Kimo's population is not moving. Mickey's is not moving either. But Mickey does have the technology advantage here. He does have nearly full iron out, and I reckon Kimo, he's not even full bronze just yet. So it's just a little bit of an advantage for Mickey, but still not really getting anywhere in this game. No attempt at pushing forward. Now, one thing that is super important for the Atlanteans in the late game is the hero citizen. Not only do they build faster, but they also have, so not only do they build faster, have more HP, and have more speed, but most importantly is they have the access to the armory. So your hero citizen survivability on the front line just goes up crazy big amounts, as we see Amana getting sniped there by Kimo. So when you're pushing forward with these citizens, heroize the citizen, build your palace, live the dream. It's such a big advantage for the Atlantean in the late game. And to not abuse that is making a huge mistake. So we are still seeing the llama caravans. I forgot what they're called for a second there. Continuing here. And with Contarius coming through, and Ebb just not able to deal with an 170 population Ra right now, plus mercenary cavalry. It's crazy strong. And this isn't even Hathor mercenary either. Like, these mercenary will fall. If we take a look at how long they last for, they still got a little bit of lifespan here. But they're gonna be able to get onto this town center nicely. So really the only counter to mercenary is towers, or are towers. If you build out a whole bunch of crenellation towers with your hero citizen. You can hold a little bit. Kimo in a bit of a problem spot. He still has this gold mine left, but with the camel caravans, it's not going to matter. He's still trying to mine as much gold as he can to get as much advantage out of those mercenaries as possible. Big problem for Mickey right now is that he doesn't have any line of sight in Kimo's base, so he can't really vortex onto this town center like he would like to. And Kimo does have himself masons, he does have some crenellations, no architects just yet, but it's not that big of a deal. And you can always research that while an attack starts coming. Villagers all getting sniped off here, and honestly, Kimo's going to be maybe happy about losing these villagers in a weird, sadistic way, just because it allows him to have more population for camel caravans, which means more possibility of making those mercenary nicely. And now we're starting to see Kimo with the slow tower push here. Would love to see some walls get thrown up here as well. This is going to be brutal. Kimo is very, very good at this. If we jump over to his perspective, does he have himself any upgrades coming through on the towers? Not just yet, but he will be getting guard towers fairly shortly. The destroyers getting taken out very slowly by this feeling, but there is another vortex coming in. Oh, I mean, I get it. He needs to hold this position, but it's a sad vortex if I've ever seen one. Now it's essentially champion Spearman against champion Contarius, and this is tough fights to win. This is tough fights to win for sure for the Oranos. And again, not getting those Hecagigantes out here. I just think that they're so important, and it forces Kimo to make mummies, because they do roleplay a little bit like Colossus, except do more damage to buildings. A little bit weaker, but more damage to buildings, and that's the big important thing. Because right now, you're just kind of trading, and honestly, like, Ra can trade for the rest of the game and be happy. And right now, we're going to be seeing Kimo going for side builds. This is beautiful here, which actually take a look at Mickey's line of sight here. Does he have himself signal fires? He does have himself signal fires, so we'll be able to see a lot of the map. But he's missing all of this. This area here is coming into Kimo a little bit too easily here. And he's going to be able to start making a push around the backside of this town center very, very nicely as this fight is ensuing here in the middle. And Kimo is still able to just spam mercenary, live the dream. He has actually dropped down on the resources here. His ferry is over here empowering this. So no gold income right now for Kimo, hurting him just a little bit. And this is the opportunity right now for Mickey to go for the kill. If he can get in onto this location, cut the trade, could be huge. As one of the maybe only times we've really seen Mickey having a solid advantage in this game. We'll see how he's going to be able to convert it. He doesn't have any population in the bank. He's not making any siege. He destroys a siege, but no siege weapons. He's still not making any of those Hecagigantes. Helios does get access to the Halo of the Sun, as well as Petrified. Halo of the Sun, obviously the big upgrade, which helps you take down buildings a little bit quicker with those fire siphons. So you do have to think about getting that at some point, but not happening just yet in this game, as it is looking like, I mean, Mickey is retreating, but he probably shouldn't be. He's running out of gold here. As the gold mine's still getting gathered for Mickey. His trade still getting produced, and he needs to set something up here building-wise. You can't just keep fighting in this game. In Age Mythology, it is a base building game. Expanding your empire is the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goal of the game. 5th goal of the game. You can get towers all in here, buildings all in here, buildings all in here. You can really prevent your opponent from being able to make any sort of groundwork anywhere else, and then you can focus on these little areas for the map. But now Kimo here going to be very, very happy. His trade is huge. He's going to keep producing the trade for the rest of the game. This is just how his game is, just his game style, his style of play. Migdol Stronghold going up on the front, very smart. We've got a second Pharaoh in here as well for Kimo, using that New Kingdom upgrade as the Arcus to immediately start targeting said Pharaoh down. Kimo, I want to consider retreating away, but not happening here. He'd rather just take down those Dryads and lose his Pharaoh eventually, but no problems there, really. He's able to start slow pushing here. He's going to be able to potentially take down that palace as the game continues. More catapults coming through. A couple of idle units here for Kimo over here on this position here. The wall is up, and if Kimo can get like a siege tower in and then just swarm with the villagers, throw up a whole bunch of buildings here, it's very little that an Oranos can actually do to stop that. As we see some more Migdols the villagers have finished the Migdol, excuse me. We'll see if he starts throwing the towers up, which is what he's going to do. On the front here is very, very strong. And Mickey's still not throwing up any towers here in this game. I'm not sure what he is throwing up palaces over here. So if he can get in on this position here, that is going to be huge. This position, walls, towers, fire siphon on this citadel would be game winning for Mickey, but I feel like his economy is not able to keep up with this spam. He is consistently trading poorly, as we are seeing some fire siphon finally coming out, but no halo of the sun here. How much does it cost? Is it gold? It is gold. Always gold. So these buildings are going to stay alive for quite some time. They do not have that obnoxious extra HP that sun-dried mud brick gives them, but having architects is a big amount of extra HP, and Watchtower just stays alive for so long there. Almost goes down, but ends up living. And Mickey's still with a Vortex remaining, but I'm not sure he wants to use it. He could try and bait out a potential Titan here if he goes for that, but no resources in the bank makes that very tough here. And I imagine Kimo is now fully upgraded. He's actually missing full iron here, whereas I'm sure that Mickey is full iron himself. No, he's missing himself iron weapons, but it's still an advantage armory-wise for our Oranos player, but he's just not able to do anything here. As we see guard towers and carrier pigeons coming through for Kimo. These guard towers start being incredibly disgusting. Look at that, plus 3.2 pierce damage, plus 4.0 pierce damage. I'm not sure which one it actually is, but if it's plus 3 damage, that's actually plus 6 damage on each of your towers because they shoot 2 arrows. That's crazy. That's so much extra damage for just getting one technology. When you compare that to like the chariot archers with the weapons, so you get plus 2 pierce damage, not plus 6 pierce damage. Big bonus there on those towers. So you do have to get those upgrades if you have the opportunity to. Now we see Mickey onto this gold mine over here as he is still under a lot of pressure. The catapults still rolling in here for Kimo. Those mercenary cavalry coming into tank. Chariot archer, tower, catapult, eat your heart out. It's like the late game dream of the Greek is to get a position where you have Petropolis, Toxodi, tower, and there's just no way to push in past that with units. Obviously, if you just go full like Heliopoli or something, you can push in, but this army comp here for Kimo is absolute dream pushing tool. So you are seeing the siege tower come through. You're going to break this stone wall down, and there will be some cheeky raids that Kimo can get onto Mickey Hayes' economy back here. And Kimo, obviously, with so many resources here, 31 villages on food and no food in the bank at all. Is he still making trade? Still making trade. One market for the entire game. That's his game plan. Why not? Why not? And now the catapult slowly making their way in. More towers coming up. I would like to see a wall here. I said this before. There's the wall attempting to get started here by Kimo. Everyone wants a tower up first. Is fair enough. Then you get the wall up. You build a nice little defensive situation here. So the siege does so much damage. You've got siege engineers in for Kimo as well now. So the town center falls even quicker. But Mickey has attempted to start this siege up over here. Towers finally coming down for Mickey as he doesn't have crenellations even yet. So it's going to be a difficult situation for him to be in. And we do indeed see Kimo taking this game in the 29th minute of this game. Very nicely played, very nicely held. But you do have to ask the question, like, I mean, I like that Mickey made the correct call here to not go Hecate. He learned from that previous game on Frozen Waste that Helios is definitely a way to go here, but needs to figure out the unit composition to go for a Vortex. You do not want TURMA in your composition. You do not want Arcus in your composition. You want infantry, potentially Lance of Stone Contarius with those heroes Contarius. You want Fire Siphon. You want Hecagigantes. Those are the units, those melee units, those hack damage units, crush damage units. Anything else is very waste of time, because the idea is, at the very least, is you take this town center down, your opponent comes over here with all this army to defend, you move over here, you take this town center down, you slap a palace down, you slap your towers down, you take this location. That is the goal of Helios. Distract on one option, on one side, go over to the other side. That's it. That's the only way to go for it. And didn't see that here from Mickey, but he did play it nicely, and he definitely had a shot here. I like Kimo's strategy, but I think he's got a lot of holes in it, and he did have to do it because of that exposed gold mine. But very, very nicely played from Kimo nonetheless. Love the segment. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. See you guys in the next game. Alrighty, guys. So we got options now. Do we go and try out these extended edition Masters of Mythology games? So that's option A. Do you want me to? I'll cast Rappel versus 100%. If you guys want me to cast you, I'll jump in the game. Oops.